Hello, everybody, and welcome again to the Slowed and Reverb podcast. I'm Jonathan. Joining me are my good friends Richard and Brandon.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys.
Yeah, and today we got a fun episode, for me at least, because we're talking about one of my favorite albums, probably top 10. I don't know. But it's the 20th anniversary. I thought it was fitting, or at least recently it was the 20th anniversary. I'm not exactly sure, but we got The Cold Vein by the rap duo of Cannibal Ox. Um, Executive produced by LP of Run the Jewels. At the time he wasn't in, but you know, whatever. Uh, but yeah, this is one of my favorite albums. I'm very excited. I know it's not anything in the similar vein to what you guys typically listen to. Sorry, I had to.
You had to go there.
Boom alert.
But yeah, we got the this album today. You guys want to give me your broad first impressions here before we dive into the track list and talk about the songs?
So I didn't know this album was extremely old. It came out in 2001, 20 years. I knew about because what's it called, like the first few tracks have LP or whatever, and then like towards the end, there's some tracks produced by him, right? Um, so I knew about LP because I've heard of Run the Jewels, but I didn't know like he went like all the way back to like 2001. So that's pretty cool. Um, I think first listen, the album was like weird to me because like I haven't heard anything similar. Maybe like some like early Rondo Jules type stuff and like I don't know MF Doom stuff on. But yeah, this album was really new to me in terms of sound and despite despite everything being new, I really liked it. Well, I didn't. Okay, I'll save that for later. But the verses were really good. I like the rhymes. There's a few lines that I've laughed at across the album, and yeah.
Richard, do you want to chime in on your first impressions?
Yeah, so I've like you guys. I know LP from Run the Jewels as well. I tried getting into them when I was first getting into hip hop, and they didn't really click with me. But LP and um, Cannibal Ox on this album just blew me away. I mean, the production is just incredible. And they just have so many good lines and flows, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I mean, you haven't suggested a bad album yet on this podcast, but like I was shocked. I didn't think I'd like it as much as I did.
All right, I'm happy to hear what I'm hearing. Yeah, I suggested this album because I know it's a bit out there. I know that you guys probably, if I didn't recommend it, would never have run into this thing. Um, and I love this album to death. I still don't really, understand every lyric or anything. It's a great work of like poetry even, and I love the whole aesthetic of the album. I love that weird like dystopian cyberpunk type vibe to the instrumentals, and then you just have both of them over it so flawlessly. I love every second of this album. I don't think there's a bad song on here. There's one song that's out of place that I'll get to later, but every song here is fantastic. But with that, let's go right into Iron Galaxy. Let's do that. Brandon, you want to start us off here?
Yeah. So quick comment. I think you nailed it with the describing like the production because it like I get like a wave of like nostalgia and like kind of dystopian. So that was a good way to describe the production. But anyways, Iron Galaxy. Um, Iron Galaxy has the production's really weird, but in a good sense. I like the production on the first track, and I really love the opening verse by how do you pronounce it, Wardle. Um,
Yeah.
he's flowing amazingly on his verse. I really like his verse, his opening verse. Like for example, street life in complete light and be like I'm a live life after this one crime. Like he just flows really well. In his opening verse, and yeah, I think he does a really good job of describing New York. Because I read on the like by reading the lyrics, you can see that he's like talking about like living life in the streets basically. And I think he does a really good job. Every line is like he's rhyming, but at the same time, each line says so much that you gotta like stop and listen to it over and over to fully understand. So good opening track, and I think it captures the overall theme of the album. The sound. There we go.
No, yeah, for sure. Um, I guess I'll go. I'll go ahead and go. Um, Iron Galaxy, like you said, it's probably the perfect opener here. I can't think of a song on this album that would like come out of the gate just like this one. That weird spacey beat is incredible, and hearing them paint a picture of life in New York, it's brutal, it's dark, it's not nice, but it's vivid. It's almost like an Illmatic type deal where you can like see it. It's crazy. I love so many lines on here. Um, Vast Air, especially. Gosh, he is. You're a stillborn baby. Mother didn't want you, but you were stillborn. I don't know why that one is insane to me. Um, but yeah, it's brutal. It's dark. But it's vivid. I love it. I love all the wordplay here. Uh, there's so many good lines on here too. I can't even pick any more. Just looking at the Genius page here. But yeah, it perfectly sets the tone for the album. Has that cool, like, 80s dystopian production. I can't even describe it any other way. Sounds like a outer space beat. It's perfect. Um, yeah. Uh, Richard, do you want to give your thoughts?
The beat definitely gives like that. I don't know, like a bunch of things are running through my head when I heard it. I hear the alarm and it's like a spaceship, like something going wrong on a ship. It gives that spacey vibe. Like I think there's horns that play like towards the beginning, and it kind of makes me think of like a Saturday morning like cartoon, like action's about to happen. I really like a lot of the samples on here, like the beginning intro. It's a cold world. Think I'm getting a little frosty myself. I mean, it just plays along with the struggle that they ran into in New York, growing up in New York. Uh, and I also like the what is it? The line. I know it's not them saying it. It's another sample. The "Do you know you're one of the few predator species that preys even on itself?" Like, oh my god. That just fits so well with the song, and it really sets up, the tone of the whole album. And everyone is just like blowing out of their minds on this thing. I was really impressed with Vordel and Vast Air on this. It was just crazy to me.
Oh yeah, I like how you pointed out that sample because that's a big theme on this track especially, but across the whole album is this weird like people against people vibe. Um, you know, ate up by the vultures, the politicians, and a dog eat dog culture that'll sick them. Like that is insane. Uh, and it really gets into that dark energy of what they're trying to say here. I mean, this comes from the picture of the Rudy Giuliani era New York. Like,
Mhm.
it's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. Uh, and I love it. Also, I have to shout out the Kramer line because I'm a big Seinfeld fan. But but yeah, I'm glad you guys like it. We can move on to the next track. Ox out the cage. You want to start now, Richard? You want to start?
Yeah, sure. I'll give it a start. Um, so like I mentioned before, I wasn't really like the biggest fan of Run the Jewels. I don't know. I mean, it's been a while, so I guess I can't say that now, but I just remember listening to it and not being very like drawn in by anything that they were that they were saying. But listening to LP here, I mean, he doesn't have the most actually he has quite a few verses on this song. Um but in the small amount that we hear him on this album and in this song in particular, he does pretty well. I actually like his flow quite a bit. Some of my favorite bars on this one, and I have a lot that I pointed out because they're just so good with these like little like I don't know, these smart like I don't know, like quirky lines like rhyme scheme so ill we change rap to con artist. I'm honest to a fault and it's my fault that I'm that honest. Like that is so crazy. I was just like I don't know, I was blown away when I heard that because it's I don't know, I don't listen to a lot of music that like rhymes like in that way, like has like a complex rhyming scheme. So that just like was mind blowing to me. Everyone on this song is just incredible.
No, yeah. I mean, that's a great line. That's one of my standouts too. Uh, but yeah, all of them just they take rapping to a new level in a way. I love all the little poetry like techniques they use and how creative it is, and they just paint a picture, and it's a crazy abstract picture sometimes, but man, does it work. What do you think, Brandon? What do you think of this song?
Yeah, these guys flow really well off of each other. Like LP comes in, and then like Bastair comes in. So I think they bounce off each other really well. The beat is not my favorite, but um, their rapping skills is really good. I really like the line that Richard pointed out. I was gonna point that one out. Um, but yeah, they're really good at painting a picture. Like I think here they're like basically like flexing their rapping skills. Like where is it? Oh yeah, like the turning rap artists into con artists. And I feel intimidated by them, like with all these rhymes and stuff. And yeah,
Yeah, if you guys ever find yourself not having anything to listen to, you should check out LP's older works. He went through and uploaded a bunch of them on Spotify, which thankfully, because I was sick of playing them on YouTube. But Fantastic Damage has a very similar. They were made around the same time, and LP does probably even better on that album. Uh, Rhyming wise, I think this one is the better project. If I had to pick, if I was at gunpoint and had to pick a favorite, it'd probably be Cold Vein. But I would definitely check that out because his older flow is definitely a lot better, and you know his sound is a bit more out there, but it's also a bit more creative in my opinion. I really like Run the Jewels, and I really like LP. He's one of my favorites. Um, but yeah, his older stuff needs some recognition. So, but yeah, this track, oh man, it is insane. Uh, it's like it's like saying it's like a statement, coming off that really hot opener, and then you get hit with this song. And it's like, yeah, this whole album's like this. You don't get the rest, you know. Um, like Vortal and Fast Air. Oh man, they're just so good, and it's incredible. The end product, and I love how brutal and you said intimidating. That's actually a perfect word. I think it comes off very intimidating. It comes off because that's just the environment that they're trying to portray here,
Mm.
and it works so well. I love it. With that, we can go to the next track. Oh, this one's Adam. Okay, this one's pretty good. I'll start off here. Hold on. So this is a posse cut. Apparently there I don't know. I'm not too versed in my history with this group, really. But apparently they were part of a bigger posse called Adam's Family, and this is a posse cut between all the members of that, from what I understand reading. Anyways, I could be ignorant. Well, let me know if I am. But yeah, I think that this is a nice change of pace. Actually, the instrumental is probably not my favorite on the album. It's still fantastic in my opinion. But I think that there are definitely better instrumentals on here. But I do really like how each verse here bounces off each other, and they just have amazing chemistry. All four of them, and it's you know it's always nice to kind of spice up things with a feature or a guest verse here and there. And I think that this is a nice place to put it that isn't LP, because he's kind of everywhere on the album anyway. But yeah, what do you guys think? Yeah.
You say you didn't like the production on this
It
one?
didn't. It's not that I don't like it. I just think that out of all the instrumentals on this album, this one might be my least favorite. If I had to pick, I mean, it's still good. Like I listen to this all the time, but just in comparison.
I really like the beat a lot actually. It yeah, it starts off like whatever, but like towards the end, towards like um Vortal's verse, it gets like really loud and chaotic. I don't know. I'm a really big fan of that, and yeah, I agree. Um, they all bounce off of each other really well. Where's that one line? Yeah, we're all from the same mold, spores, and bacteria. That one made me pull out my headphones. I was like, what? uh, yeah, overall, really good. I think this is one of my like a standout track for me because they flowed really well and the production is actually pretty good in my opinion.
What do you think, Richard?
So I like the beat on this one. I like the I don't know what it is, like chirping almost. I'm not really sure what else to really describe that as, but it adds a little bit of like I don't know, like something different to the beat. I don't just as a warning for the rest of the album, I really don't have a lot of critique. I really was just like gushing over the whole thing while I was listening to it. But I really love Alaska's four bars at the beginning, the topple propaganda force, like that. Again, just like another like insane rhyming scheme. And then the we're all from the same mold and told we're inferior lines are just genius as well. I think there's a line, I can't find the line where they're talking about how they have explosive flows on this. I can't find it. I don't remember who um says it on this.
Alaska does in his verse.
Right, okay. So yeah, like I mean Alaska's flows are like he deserves to make that claim here just because his first verse just I don't know, it was really good. And what is it? Oh yeah, Cryptic one's lines about Oedipus were pretty funny too.
No, yeah, this is a great posse cut. All of them really show up. It's really good. Uh, moving on. A B Boys Alpha. This one's really nice. It's like it's kind of relatable, you know.
Is the first line relatable, Jonathan?
Yeah, not the first
Yeah.
line, but the second
Uh,
and third. Like I don't know how many times my mom has said, "I've I brought you into this world. I can take you out of it." Um, you know, I really like that. But cynical ways cats sin for nickels these days. I love that line. I'm sorry, it's so good. Um, just tackling important topics of like greed and growth. It's very cool. I love this song. What do you guys think?
for me, I'm a sucker for these like growing up type of songs. What are they called again? They're like coming of age type of songs, and I think that the song's really good because he like we get a bit of context as to like the type of area New York is during this time, right? And here he's talking about like I found the passion in aerosol cans and hands clapping, backspins. So he's found comfort in rap, to get away from this type of stuff. And like, and forgive me if I'm wrong, if I'm taking like the wrong approach to it, but that's what it means to me. And overall, it's a nice song. The first line had me rolling. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but yeah, I really like these type of songs where um, they're not relatable, but it's like they're relatable in the sense of growing up and trying to like find your place.
No, yeah, that's definitely where I was going with it. I don't relate to the to lots of the lines personally, but like the overall feel for it, I definitely relate to. You know. Uh, anything?
What about you, Richard?
Yeah, yeah.
I will say the first line really took me out when I was listening to it. Like when I think I first listened to this song in my car alone, thank God. And I heard that first line and I'm like, "Excuse me?" Like I was I I'm not a fan of that line. It's just so jarring to me.
So
But
this ain't an album for the girlfriend, huh?
I mean, maybe she probably won't listen to it, like the lyrics. She won't know what's being said. But I mean, other than the first line, I mean, it's I mean, like you guys said, it's a nice like coming of age story, and again, Fast and Vordel just killing it on this one.
All right. Well, we can move on to Raspberry Fields. Uh, you guys start on this one. I think I started the last two. Let's hear from Brandon first.
This song, the production of the song really, I know like this came first, but it really reminded me of like the type of stuff that I would hear on a Run the Jewels project. Sorry that I gotta keep comparing it, but like that's the only.
No, no, I understand. That's where you know LP.
So it
So,
sounded really Run the Jewelsy, um, which I love. I love their unique product. Well, yeah, unique production. LP's production. Uh, Overall, uh, it's one of. I love the production, but I think it's not one of my favorite tracks on this thing. I'm trying to find that one line. Uh, I can't find it. I'm trying to find the one line where. Oh, right here. We pigeons equipped with talents to twist split. I was like, holy crap, dude! How many? He made bird sound intimidating. uh, like the
Bird.
most common, the most like harmless looking bird, pigeons, look so.
I mean, bird imagery is all over this thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's a good, it's a nice motif to roll with.
Yeah, overall good track. I like it, but it's not one of my favorites.
Fair enough. I really like Vastair's. It's kind of funny his little, if first you don't succeed, try again, and then he like messes up and then he repeats himself. Like, I don't know. It kind of gives me the vibe of like almost like a when you're in like the lunchroom in school, and you know people would be like trying to freestyle, and it's almost kind of smooth. It'd be like if you like you start that off with that line in your freestyle, then you mess up, and then you just repeat it. Like that's kind of that's how I kind of got it. I don't know, but I really liked it. Um,
Oh yeah. Also, I really like the line where he's like you want beef, but there's worms in your Wellington. It's pretty funny. I like that line.
no, yeah, they're really clever, both of them. Fast Aaron. Oh man. Uh, but what do you think, Richard? What do you think about this track?
Yeah, I was gonna point out that um those bars, was it the samples the flesh and the beats the skeleton, the you got beef with there's worms in your Wellington. And then yeah, I love how he says skeleton in the first one, and and then he's complaining like, "Oh man, I messed up. I said it the same word twice." And then later he just changes it to gelatin, which I mean like still like I mean it rhymes but then it still like makes sense. So it's just like I really loved that. So a little bit of like humor, but also like still keeping the rhyme and like the structure the same, and it still has like the same meaning.
No, yeah, it's clever. They're this whole project just kind of shows how both of them are just fantastic writers, and man, I just love it. Let's move on to the next one. Straight off the DIC. Uh, you want to start us off this time, Richard?
Sure, why not? I mean, I keep saying this for the whole album, and it's just like I don't have anything like bad to say, other than that one line on on B Boys Alpha. But just there's I don't know. It's just, they don't miss. I really love the you ain't a convict, you got caught jaywalking. You don't know the alphabet, but you're still talking. And then the heads or tails bar is just like oh, it's just beautiful. It's I don't know what else to say. I mean they're just uh they're killing it. I don't know. It's I I enjoyed the song quite a bit.
For me, this is one of my favorite songs. This thing, really love Wardlow's hook. I don't know, he just flows through his hook really well. And there's this one line, shoot, because you've been talking about lines, where he's like, the last person who tried to like mess with me, he's now reading Braille or whatever. That shit is so badass, dude. Um, I really like that line, or the line where he's like, "You don't know the alphabet, but you still talking." I think that was by Vast Air. Yeah, these guys are really intimidating. And they're flowing through this thing really well. It almost sounds like like an actual like a cipher or something. Because I know he like starts out like saying like cipher or something.
Oh, Cipher
Um,
Unknown. That's what Ox stands for.
okay.
It's some Islamic thing, I think, like Nation of Islam. There's like some alphabet that OX translates to Cipher Unknown. Uh, I don't know. I can't really speak on that personally, but
Yeah.
it's still neat. It still shows how creative they are in everything. Like, even their name has a deeper cryptic meaning. And it makes sense because these songs are very cipher esque. Like, it's very much like I spit my verse, you spit your verse, and while they bounce off of each other like no other, you know, it's still kind of like, I don't want to say freestyly because that's not it. It's like a Wu Tang Clan type thing. How they're always trying to one up each other in their
Hmm.
songs. Like it's like that, but they're just like two titans clashing, and it makes for a glorious picture. I don't know, but yeah, that's all over here. Um, this song is exactly that. They're just kind of spitting here. I don't know how to describe it otherwise. Like, holy crap! Lots of great lines on here. Great chemistry. Great hook, like you said. I don't even know what I can add. That I'm just happy hearing that y'all are enjoying it a lot.
Well, that hook is really catchy. I love it. Like, love to sex microphones, the type of poems we spit, rips through scripts, and strips your bones. Like, bro, it's so good.
No, they can spit. Like,
If they can freestyle this, I want to hear like an actual like well written like one that they actually like reviewed and not freestyle. You
oh
know?
yeah, I don't think they freestyled it. That was just like the type of vibe that I
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
get, But yeah, I love it. Oh, next one's a good one. Vane. Yeah, this one's sick. Uh, Man, should I start? Yeah, I'll start. I think this is the lead single, which makes sense because I mean this song is it's a heavy hitter on the track list in my opinion. Not my favorite. I'll tell you my favorite when I get there, but um, yeah, I love this instrumental so much. I love it, and just the like comparison. Where's the line? There's like the line of like how everyone's like tied up by the vein. I don't know where it is, but man, that one just gets you. It's like when they it's like that stupid Family Guy joke when they say the movie title and he said you know that's like that kind of moment for me. It's like dang, that is so cool. Um, but it's brutal. It's brutal. Lay that shit down. What is you, a clown? You want to see a little kid get shot? Like what the heck? It's so brutal. It shows just how if you're in that life, you get wrapped up in it. Uh, in a way, it's in your veins. Gosh, I love this song. What do you guys think? Uh, Richard, you want to go?
Sure. So, I mean, yeah, they both have really good, uh, Vastair and Vortal, that is. They both have very good verses here. I really like uh Vastair's, story about a kid waving a gun in his face, trying to like get some respect, trying to get some street cred. Um, I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's just an interesting story, like an interesting thing to rap about. And then Vortal too with his verse about being, in another universe while he's stuck, in New York. Cause like I mean you can see it in, his lyrics. He's a very he's very smart, very he has a lot of good wordplay and good writing, but he's, stuck in the middle of New York trying to survive. So yeah, I mean overall this is a great song. And LP's production on this, I haven't mentioned it enough, but he really has great production throughout this whole album.
Yeah, Vastair's second verse, I think it's like I almost pictured the entire thing going on inside my head, where like the kid like flashes the gun or whatever, and then Vastair's like, "Peace, keep breathing," and then like the kid's like, "Oh, whatever, you know." And I really like that one line where it's he's like, "We're all from the same ghettos, and these are the same hollow tips that knock Millie out of stilettos." I think that's a beautiful line because it shows that they're all born from they're a product of their environment, and that causes them to be like hostile towards each other because it's all they know, you know. So I thought his second verse was really good, and yeah, overall great track.
No, yeah, I love it. All right, let's we can move on to the next one.
Ah, the
The
most
F word.
relatable one.
Oh man. I'll start with this one. Let me preface this with I really like this song. I really, 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 really like this song. Uh, his imagery, his words, the beat, it's all great. But I do feel like this song doesn't fit on the album necessarily. It's not. I don't know. It's so weird because like everything else is like, yeah, life in New York, life in New York, and then this one's just like, I got friend zoned. Like, I don't know. Overall, this one doesn't really fit on the tracklet, but I love it so much. It's so good. I love how defeated he kind of sounds in some of these lines. Like, oh man, it just shows the constant back and forth, and I guess, yeah, it's insane. Um, but what do you think? What do you think? Let's start with you, Brandon. You said it was relatable, so.
Yes, sir. You know your boy has gotten friends at least a couple of times. A couple of times I took those L's. But yeah, I was gonna say when you said there's like one song that was out of place, I was guessing it was this song, so yeah, I agree. Compared to the other tracks, it's like, oh, he got friend zoned, you know. But overall I really like it's just a good song overall, talking about like um the complications of like liking someone and like them giving you hints, and then it's like, but like on friend zone or whatever. And like he does who does it? I think um yeah. Vaster is like talking about like he's like describing her and like his interactions with her, like for example, red petals when we talk, so you know that's like roses and that's like symbolizing love or whatever. And then I really love just the just the rhyme schemes on some of these where is it? It's like talking about like how um sh- the person that friends with them was like stressing their nerves or something like that. I don't know. It was all really relatable, and I agree that it like shows just how back and forth, you know, the friend zone can be and stuff like that. How about you, Richard? Have you ever gone friend zoned?
Guys, believe it or not, I've never gotten friend zoned.
I've friend
Really?
zoned before.
Yeah, I've been the friend zone, but I've done that less than.
I've never gotten friend zoned. I've only been the one to friend zone, sadly.
Hold on, I
Well,
didn't know Jonathan was a Chad.
No.
but this song was it was unexpected, but like in a very good way. It's when I think of like a love song, usually I think of something very like I don't know, like soft and melodic and sensual. I think back to Enough from the Tribe Called Quest album that we listened to a few weeks ago. That's like a very different direction than this. Um, I feel like this is a bit more like aggressive, but like it makes sense because it's about the frustration of not knowing what like not even not knowing. It's the frustration of like knowing that like nothing's ever gonna happen. And I really like that about this. It's probably my favorite um in the album. One of the one of the bars from Bastard that I really liked was I wore my lust like cologne. She called it obsession. I mean it's so like simple, but it's just like oh my god. And I love Vordel's hook on this thing. She like music, feelings be mixing when I'm out with her. I mean it's just I mean like you guys said, relatable. Most people can relate to unrequited love like this. And one of the lines that got me is when he's treating you wrong, I'm more than a shoulder to cry on. And I'm like, so many people like do that, where they're like they or go through that where like they hear how bad like this person's significant other is, and they're like, they're always there for them and hoping, maybe they'll realize that the person they needed was in front of them the whole time. So I think, yeah, I think this song is definitely my favorite. One of the best ones on the album for sure.
All right, all right. I'm loving what I'm hearing. By the way, I'm so happy you guys like this. uh, next song, Stress Rap. Oh man, I love this one too. I can say that about every song though, so that's not really fair. Um, I love how this is just like it's showing how like their daily life is like this. Growing up where they were, like it just shows all the things that they have to go through. And man, do they do it, and they just present it so beautifully over great production. It's really hard to like talk about this album without just you know gushing on it like Richard said, like because they just do so good. What was the one? Oh yeah, the Vastair's fourth verse. That is sick. I love that. It's the starving, happy Harlem rap magician, chained underwater in 60 seconds. The body's missing. Snake in the grass at 6 feet. You can hear him hissing. I got a problem with your mouth, so I don't listen. Like, oh man, like that. That is probably some of my favorite four bars on this album. It just, man, it just shows the like culture that they're in. Like, no one trusts each other, and everyone's out to get each other, and it's bleak, but man, it's so good. What do you guys think?
To add on to the whole, this is what they live through every day. The beat sounds really New Yorky. Like when I hear the beat, I think of Nas's Illmatic, and yeah, the beat really fits the song well. And like you said, I really like Vordo's Vordo's verse. Oh no, Bastire's verse. Sorry. Um, like like fuck a soul. Even God knows his body is hollow. Like yeah, that basically means that like everyone is out to get each other, and that like not even you are like proud of your actions. I guess I don't know. But yeah, overall good song.
Richard, you want to chime in?
I will say, the what is it? The magician line, the rap magician chained underwater. I love how it's, referred to again later. He said, "On the mic, it's all magic, and I got short sleeves. And I'm just that nice. I might let you breathe." Like that. That's just so. It's just so like It's just so crazy. Um, and I really like the short sleeves thing because like when you do magic, people typically have longer sleeves in case like they're hiding a card or something. But like, he's got nothing to hide. He's the real deal. There's nothing, he's hiding. Like his talent is all there. But yeah, that just Vast Air again just blowing me away. And then Vordels, I really, liked in the sense that it was real, but I mean not. I liked his verse on like how police treat people of color, and it's sad that it's still relevant today. But 20 years later, but he had a good verse and outlook on that.
All right. Well, we can move forward. All right. The next song might have maybe my second favorite beat on the album, "Battle for Asgard." I love this beat, and I love their verses. Oh man, it's a perfectly named title because it's literally like they're like titans just fighting, you know, with their verses. It's such a cool imagery to think about, like that they're these like battle rap type verses are just, you know, clashing into each other. I love it. Um, and this beat is so insane. I cannot get enough of it. That weird guitar like interlude that plays every time, and you have those like hard hitting synths, I guess. Uh, and all the little details. Oh, it's so good. It's so infectious. And all of them just show that they're like at the top of their game with these verses. Uh, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I pretty much agree. It sounds like the title is really fitting. The production sounds like they're in outer space or something. Even though this is when they were talking about like Odin and stuff, I was thinking of Marvel Avengers and stuff. But yeah, I really like. It's like they're trying to compete each other, which compete against each other, which is what you said like a couple of tracks ago. And yeah, I really like. I think for me, the person who stands out the most is Vastire again. I love his verse. Like, I'm a diamond in the rough, and you're Lucy in the sky with a cubic. And like, you go on Google and you search up what's a cubic. It's like, oh, it's a fake diamond. Um, but yeah, I really like his verse. It's probably my favorite out of all the four verses on here. And yeah, good track.
Richard, do you want to enlighten us on your opinion?
I didn't think of this as like a battle, but I mean the song title says it, so I guess I guess it makes sense. Um, but yeah, I just love the yeah, I love everyone's verse on here. I think Lifelong and Sea Rays both were just phenomenal on this track. And I like I don't I mean this was probably like intentional, I'm guessing. Like I like Vordel shouts out Sea Rays in the his verse with the Sea Rays blast from the optics. I thought that was a nice little like reference to him in the song. And yeah, the production on this is insane. I love how like after a couple of verses it like the beat kind of like slows down and it just comes right back when the next verse starts up. And I love the stereo effect that I got when I was listening to it. But and yeah, I kind of forget that like Asgard and like Norse mythology is its own thing. I completely was thinking of like Marvel and stuff throughout the whole
It's
song.
it's the downside of being a nerd.
Yeah, right.
uh, no, yeah, I really like the Norse thing, um, and you know you can kind of tie it to Marvel if you want. It's kind of like a Wu Tang Clan or Czarface or something. You know they always try to tie into comic books and stuff, so you could. I mean, but it's definitely one of the standout tracks for me. Um, the next song, "Real Earth." This is just kind of vast air, just like showing off. You know, that outro is so good. Like the one dimensional MCs thing. Like I love that. I love when rappers use the same line with different endings to do stuff like that. But uh, what do you guys think about this one?
I mean, yeah, like you said, Vast Air is just flexing here. I, looking looking at it now, I didn't realize he was the only one on the track, but I mean, like he's just ridiculous. Uh, There's like a couple bars that I really like from him. He has calluses on his hand because I held the sun uneven. I got the weight of the world on my chest and I'm still breathing. And then like the Moses line with the staff that parts the Red Sea. And then he uses the mic to depart MCs. Like, oh my god, are you kidding? It's just he is phenomenal. He is outstanding. This is a great performance from him.
Yeah, I agree. It is just faster flexing. I like his this Earth is is a Chinese fortune cookie. I thought that line was pretty funny. Um, yeah, there's not much. I didn't have much to say about this track. It's compared to the other tracks on the album, it's like pretty short, honestly. Because like I know some songs go up to like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. But yeah, I didn't have much to say about this track, other than it's just Vester flexing.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, we can move on to the next track, Ridiculoid. This one's really funny to me because LP starts out by saying, "This is for my album." You know that, right? And if you've heard, I think Fantastic Damage was the one he was talking about. If you hear Fantastic Damage, you definitely get the same vibe on this instrumental to that album. Like this song sounds like you could plug it into that album and it would fit. But yeah, LP's verse is really sick. I think LP's one of my favorite rappers, and he just goes off here. Um, that beat, it's pretty ridiculoid if you ask me. You know, it's I love how crazy it gets. That weird high pitch like ring sound is really cool. um, the hook is somehow catchy. It's not even that like big of a deal, but you know, I find myself saying it over and over again after I listen to the song. Uh, all right, Brandon, what do you think of this song?
I really like LP's verse. I for some reason I thought he was like a member of Cannibal Ox, like because I have no idea who Cannibal Ox is, and when I searched it up, I was expecting LP to be part of it, but nope. Because like the first two songs had like his vocals or whatever.
He might as well be because he produces like most, if not all, of the songs.
But yeah, I really like LP's verse. It's kind of crazy to see like how talented he was back then and compare him to like now. Like I can definitely see like I don't want to say improvements because I'm not one to like rapping, but yeah, I love his verse. Um, I think there's one line where I can't find it, but yeah, I think he actually outshines Vordel and Vastire, in my opinion.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, although it's kind of
But
unfair to compare them. But I
yeah,
think LP just stands leagues above most rappers, personally. So, uh, but yeah, I would agree with you there. Did you have anything else to add, or
no, but this just reinforced my liking to LP.
I'm glad. Uh, Next album I pick probably won't be LP's, but I might pick it in a future episode down the road. I don't know. Um, but yeah, we can move on to Painkiller. Why don't you start us off with Painkillers, Richard? Uh,
Oh, okay,
What?
oh,
I thought it was.
Huh?
Oh yeah, you start off with painkillers. I thought he was gonna say me because
No,
Oh
no,
my
no.
god. Well, I mean, I think they have some beautiful bars about addiction. I really it feels like dirty saying liked because it's like very sad, but his bars at the end of this verse saying, I'm losing my brain. He's angered with hangovers. If he had a trigger, he would squeeze. It's just so heartbreaking. This is definitely one of the sadder tracks on the album for me. Um, and Vast Air too, with his lines at the end. You can't rely on a substance. Look at addiction, for instance. In an instance, you'll wake up out of that requiem for a dream, but you still caught it in the rectum. Like that. I'm I it's just I have no words really. Um, but yeah, it's very eye-opening to me. It's something that I'm scared like that'll happen to me. So like hearing this is like kind of scary almost, um but yeah, this song was really good.
Yeah, I agree. This song's really nice. Um, in terms of like the message trying to say, where it's like addiction and like drugs and stuff will, in the end, cause you more harm than good. Because in the moment when you're doing this type of stuff, like you feel great and it's a way to relieve your stress, but then it just kills you in the end. And I really like that line where it's like on his hands and knees praying to that porcelain toilet, because he's talking about an alcoholic, and when you're drunk you throw up on and just vomit your brains out in the toilet. But yeah, very good song. I take this a little bit personal because in the past I've struggled with stuff like this. um Not as much as now, but yeah, it was a great song. I think it perfectly captures how people use these addictions to like drugs, to relieve themselves, but like it's not the way. There are other forms to make it through.
Yeah, it's a powerful track for sure. I would say that this song is kind of the album's climax in a way. You know, the traditional structure of a story. You got the climax at the top, and then you have the like falling action, and then you have the resolution. I'd say these three songs kind of do exactly that. I think this is the climax. Like they've talked about the struggle up to this point, you know, in every single song previously, and this is how they deal with the struggle. Um, and it's rough, and it doesn't work. And then Pigeon comes in. That's the falling action, and then the last track is the resolution. It's the uplifting, uh, you know, we'll rise above it song. And so I really like how deep and dark it is because it does set the stage for the rest of the album very, very well, in my opinion. Um, and, both of them do such a great job of painting a picture of substance abuse. And it's a very real reality that, we live in to this day, even. It's probably only gotten worse. I mean, especially in my area, we're big in the opioids and meth. Like that's a very real problem that people try to ignore the troubles through substance abuse rather than conquer them in a way. Which brings us to Pigeon, uh, another one of my favorite songs. Uh, what do you think about this one, Brandon? You start us out.
Uh, Pigeon is I either want to say either painkillers or this song is my favorite. I really love the production on this track, especially towards the end where like the I think it's trumpets. I don't know the instruments, but the brass will say it gets like really heavy, and like there's a guitar. I don't know, but yeah, I really like the whole birds of the same feather flock together congested on. I think that's a great opener. Because he's comparing like human life to pigeons, and in a way, it's like for example, by the pigeons that gotta eat pizza crust every night, that can be like compared to people that live off of very little, and I think it paints a perfect picture of New York and everything. And yeah, they have really good rhymes all over this track. The production's great, and yeah.
Yeah, I really like the bird. What's the word? Comparison, analogy,
Analogy.
and they continued on the last song too. Which, spoiler alert, last song's my favorite track. But Pigeon does a great job of kind of setting that up. Like, oh, we're pigeons. We go through life with all this, and it's a great setup for the last track, and it's a great song in its own right too. Very powerful. I like how you pointed out all the lines that stood out to me the most, and you know, just gives me less work to do. I'm glad you saw those lines as a standout too. But yeah, I love this song. I say that for every song, but I love this song. Um, what do you think, Richard? What do you think about this one?
There's been like little like they've made references to Pigeon, Screaming Phoenix throughout the album, and I think it's fitting that the last two songs like directly reference that subject matter and gives a bit of insight as to what that really, means for them. Um, for with Pigeons, I think it's an interesting choice because I mean, I've never been to New York, so I can't say for sure. But like, in cartoons, when they're in like a city like New York, they always like animate pigeons. Like that's like the default um bird that they're drawn to. And I mean, it makes sense here because like yeah, it's just like birds of the same feather flock together is essentially like, New York and its people. And I really like how, you know, um Vast Air makes the comparison of, the mic stand descending, from up, from like a godlike figure almost, and giving him a way to spread his wings and, fly before, the winter traps you, as he states in his verse. And I really like Vordel at the end of Vordel's verse when he's talking about, somewhat about like someone getting robbed because, the person who's robbing them is poor. Um, I don't know, I just like that little insight into, you know, someone who's doing it might not be doing it out of pure malice, it might be out of just pure necessity.
Yeah. All right. And finally, my favorite track, Scream Phoenix. I love this as a closer. I love every second of the album, but this finishes it off in such a powerful way, in my opinion. It says all that struggle, all that like pain throughout the rest of the album, all the stresses of life, all the realities that they live in. It's very optimistic, that they'll rise from it, they'll become better from it. Uses the analogy of the phoenix, which in mythology, from my understanding at least, the phoenix dies goes out, the flames die out, and it dies, and then it comes back and it's even stronger. Um, so it kind of you know makes that comparison. It uses the it alludes to Jesus on the cross. Uh, you know that good can come from the bad almost. Very very powerful song. It shows that they can grow past all those things that life has thrown at them. And I don't know, that beat is really cool. It's my favorite instrumental. I love it, and the hook is catchy. Um, the imagery is great. They're still spitting like goodness. You can say that about any song on here, but I don't know. I really love this song. I listen to it more times than I can count probably. What do you guys think about it?
So the first track in the album, painted a picture of like New York and whatnot, and how dark it is. Like dark, basically the rough times in New York at this time. And I think this track is a great closer to the album because throughout the album you've been hearing like what people go through, the stress, the addictions that they have, and in the end, you can't prevail from it. Um, you can push through it, and I really like the symbolism of the phoenix. A phoenix is a creature that like dies, but then is like reborn, and in a way, you can attribute it to this track by like thinking like after you get knocked down, the only way to go, the only way to go is to go up, and yeah, I just really like the message that this track's trying to paint. I think they do a really good job, and it's a good closer to the album. It gives you hope that even though times are rough during the early 2000s, you can still make it out. And oh, I also really like the outro where he's like trapped in the system pigeons, and that's like the difference between a pigeon or a phoenix. Are you a pigeon or are you a phoenix? Because a pigeon dies and it doesn't get reborn, but a phoenix does. So I don't know. I just really like the little outro there.
No, yeah. What about you, Richard?
I mean, I think you guys both summed this up really nicely. This song really is like their evolution from pigeons to the phoenix. The pigeon is not really able to conform to anything that is thrown its way, and the phoenix, even if it gets knocked down, it can be reborn and it's brought back to life. So I mean, and that's just 2 songs ago they were talking about addiction. Vordel was very depressed, talking about how he would shoot himself if he had like the chance. And here he turns around and gives hope. It's very inspiring to see. But yeah, like you guys said, it's a great closer to the album, and it's nice to have a optimistic ending to this album.
Yeah, well said. Um, well, that's the album. Uh, let's give our thoughts. We'll go Richard, Brandon, me. How about that? We'll do that for our closing thoughts and arbitrary rating and whatnot.
That sounds
Sounds
good.
good. I mean, I mean, throughout this podcast, you've heard me just, sing praises about the album, their wordplay, their flows, their, you know, what they discuss in their songs. And I mean, it's just, I don't know. Words really can't describe like how enjoyable this was to me. nothing like with A Tribe Called Quest, really nothing felt out of place. Um, Everything had a purpose and it all fit well together. There wasn't a feature that I hated, and there wasn't, aside from the one line, in this long album, everything just kind of clicked for me. And LP, while I was a bit hesitant to, well, not hesitant, but while I was a bit, afraid because I knew I wasn't a fan of RTJ in the past. I think his production on this album and his involvement in it just really elevates, the rest of Cannibal Ox's lyricism and just genius, really. I'd probably give this. I think honestly, I think I'd give this a 10. It just scratched every itch for me, really.
Brandon?
So when it comes to me to like lyrical, spiritual, miracle rap type of stuff, I used to listen to a lot of it back then. Um, so coming into this, it was like refreshing because what I listen to nowadays is nowhere as technical as the Cold Vein. And overall, I enjoyed the album. I thought I was actually gonna dislike it when I first heard the opening track, and I was like, "Hold on, this instrumental sounds wonky." Uh, but in the end, I actually found it really, really enjoyable. I really like how they painted New York during these times, and there are some tracks on here that were relatable, which was nice. It's always nice to have relatable songs, and yeah, I really love Bastaire. I think out of the duo, I think he's probably my favorite. If I had to pick, um, and yeah, I really like this album. Now the question is whether if I'll return to it, which I probably will because there's some really good gems on here. Um, so yeah, if I would have to give it a score that doesn't mean anything, I would give it a probably an 8 or 9, depending on my mood. But yeah, this is easily like at least an 8. Um, not like a 9 or 10 confidently because there are some lows in the album that uh, turn me off. Like for example, the mixing can be a little bit or like um and yeah, I think that's like one of my main problems. But like this was what the early 2000s, so can't really judge. But yeah, I would give it an 8 through 9.
All right. I'm really glad that you guys like this one. Because I kind of teased you guys about it every week for the past, whenever we started the podcast, really. And I'm going to get you with this backpacker rap. Haha. I'm going to get you with this weird stuff. Haha. And then, but I'm really glad that you guys came out liking it. And I didn't scare you guys away with all the, talk of, you know, but yeah, this is one of my favorite albums. Um, I discovered it really late, which might explain why I liked it so much. Just because I have a much finer appreciation for everything that they do, the production, the wordplay, the poetry devices, the literary devices. They're geniuses. They're honestly geniuses. I don't know of many. I don't know of any people that could write this creatively and beautifully and put it in a way that is so impactful on me. Um, I listen to this. I listen to so many songs off this album constantly. They're constantly like if they come on shuffle, I stop what I'm doing and listen. I got to. It's just so good. Um, One of my favorite albums. I I I would probably give it like a 9.5 overall. I don't think I'd be so bold to give it a 10 because in my opinion the only 10 is Illmatic. But this comes close. I mean this is probably the best thing to come out of New York since Illmatic, if I had to say that. Maybe with the exception of Mos Def's album, but you know I haven't thought that far of where I'd place everything. But yeah, I love this album to death, and I'm so glad that you guys enjoyed it, and from what I hear, really liked it. Um, so yeah, well, that's it for us today, guys. I thank you so much for watching. Uh, Again, like, comment, subscribe, do whatever, and we'll try to address it in a future episode. Just keep looking out for new ones. I guess that's it. Take care, everybody.
See you guys.
See you guys. Make sure you hit the bell.